Welcome back to the channel. My name is Chuck. Thank you for being here. We like to talk about investing in Pokemon cards. And today we are talking about what I would buy with $100, similar to the video we did before with $1,000. I got a request by a commenter to do it for 100, and I think it'd be a fun exercise because this market is pretty tough to invest in right now. It feels like everything is so expensive. It feels like there's so much fear driving the market. At the end of the day, you'll be fine if you are responsible. You're not maxing out a credit card. You're using disposable income. You have a good plan, and you have some conviction into what you buy. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Just wanted to throw that out there first. And today's video is sponsored by PokeNotify. PokeNotify is a tool that I use to get product. I have not waited at a store in line for anything probably ever, but especially not in the last 6 months. I've gotten everything online, and I am actually going to show you what it looks like. It's just a Discord group. It's very simple. The main tab where the best pings come from is the important updates tab. You'll see here, these are the highest probability for actually getting something, beating a bot. And that's really the goal, is beating bots. So if you're interested, there's probably a drop tonight on Walmart, as there usually is on Wednesdays. We'll see what happens. Of course, nothing is guaranteed, but I've had a lot of success with it so far. And there's a 3-day free trial and 25% off your first month if you decide that it makes sense for you. So link is down below. So yeah, thank you guys for everything so far. It's been a crazy journey, and we are back. Took a break yesterday, hung out with some friends, made a post about it. You guys were super nice, and hope you all have had a good week so far. And enough yapping, let's get into the video. I have a few items that I think are pretty good buys, and if you know me, you know the first item is going to be Sword and Shield. Come on now. Come on now. Under $100 ETB. You can get Prismatic for the same price. Do you want that? Do you want to sit on that for 2 years? Maybe. I mean, I have a few, that's for sure. But I'd rather have some Lost Origin. Got one right here behind me. Thought I'd pull it out and make a really sweet background. By the way, I made the bed. Yeah, so Lost Origin, I mean, obviously, Giratina, Aerodactyl. Pretty strong set. Really carried by those two cards, especially the Giratina. You know, they're not making more of these as far as we can tell. How old is the set? It is 2 3/4 of a year old, so almost 3 years old in September. And it's still a really high set value compared to the era. I think for under $100, or even at $100, I mean, we're really pushing it here, 98 plus 2 shipping. So probably a card show, right? I think if you had a really simple strategy, you just wanted some exposure to the hobby, Lost Origin, ETB, put this in your closet and wait 2, 3, 5 years. I almost guarantee you it'll be worth at least double what it is today. And that's a pretty darn good investment. I know we get really caught up in ROI. I certainly do. But when you compare it to other investment vehicles that exist in the world, 100% over 2 years is a really, really good return, 50% a year. So Lost Origin, great set. Really nice display box, too, I might add. You know, you have the Giratina on there with the stripes. It's definitely gone up recently, and I do continue it to steadily increase in price as a top set in Sword and Shield. And on that same theme, I think Brilliant Stars is a great option, too. And Brilliant Stars has really been putting in some work on that last leg up earlier last month, I guess, now. $85.99, $6 shipping. You're looking at about 100, give or take, right? So a little bit under. The card show you could probably find at 90, something like that, maybe 80. Great option. Got the Charizard. You know, you have a great gallery, great trainer gallery. The first trainer gallery, really strong trainer gallery, right? Let's take a look at it. Let's see, Brilliant Stars. Just as a refresher, the Charizard with the Venusaur, the action style, really nice. Arceus, Mimikyu. It's got a lot. It's got a lot to give. I think it's really strong. People loved it when it came out, and I think it'll only continue to age really, really well. So In my opinion, a great buy. I would say the same for Astral Radiance and Silver Tempest too. It's kind of honorable mentions. Just lower tier, right? Less desirable sets, decent prices. I think they're probably sitting around 60, 80 bucks, somewhere in that range. So pretty good option as well, in my opinion. Moving on, you guys already know. You guys already know what I was going to say. 151 booster bundles, really anything 151 under $100 posters. What else is there? Bundles, posters. Is there any other sealed product under $100? I'm not sure there is. Yeah, booster bundles are going to be a great option for you. 6 packs, no fluff. Been holding like $65 for like 6 months at this point. And they have been releasing so many of these this year. I think it's only a matter of time before 151, as it continues to age, which it is coming up on 2 years, as we keep saying, which, you know, it's a good, it's not a perfect indicator, 2 years, but it's a good indicator that we will be seeing less and less product as time goes on, especially as each set comes out, right? It's one more set that the Pokemon company has to print. So 151 booster bundles, a little bit extra left over, you're going to be setting yourself up pretty well. And I think it's a really strong buy if you want some Scarlet and Violet. I personally feel really confident in 151 over the next 2, 3, 5 years. So you could park your money in here and probably be doing quite well in the future. So great option to buy, even if you have more than $100 or less, for everybody. Now, hear me out. Hear me out. It's the only Pokemon Center ETB that I think you can buy under $100. Now, I know it's on Shrouded Fable, Bezendipity, am I right? But the set isn't, it's not great, don't get me wrong, and it's sandwiched between some like really good sets. I mean, it's easily the worst of the era as far as special sets go. But, you know, it's almost a year old. They're not making more of them. And actually, this, you know, the price of the ETB compared to the set value, you know, it's only going to get better with time, I think. I mean, set value is going to drop, but once we get some age behind it, you know, everything tends to go up in the hobby, and PCTBs are the best performing product of the last year. So, like, if you want exposure to a Pokemon Center ETB, this isn't the worst. This might be your only option, actually, for under $100, but I don't think it's a terrible buy. Now, am I going to rush out buying this? No, I'd rather have a Lost Origin ETB, but don't be shocked if this outperforms those. You know what I mean? That exclusivity, it's a lot safer from a reprint. You know, we saw Lost Origin and the other 3 Sword and Shield sets that I mentioned. Huge supply released back in December. So, you know, no set is safe. PCTB remains a really strong product. I don't think it's the worst buy in the world. The promo's like, you know, it's not that great, but well, it's not the best promo, admittedly. But, you know, it's kind of a cool looking box, I guess. And I think it's a great product. And Shrouded Fable, I think it's going to age a little bit better than people think. I have a feeling. So, pretty decent option. Another option, going back to Sword and Shield, is really anything Evolving Skies. But you can't get anything Evolving Skies under $100 unless it's a loose pack or a sleeve pack, because the 3-pack blisters, I think, are, what, 130, 140, somewhere in that range. And in my opinion, I feel like if you're investing in the hobby, you got to have Evolving Skies. It's the best set of the modern era. It's a top 2, top 3 set of all time. I think the art's incredible. You guys know how I feel. I'm a little biased towards Sword and Shield. I totally admit that. That's the main era that I got into the hobby, but Evolving Skies is amazing. If you get a full art set of this, you're going to be happy you did. And, you know, it's only going to continue going up at this point. You're not going to be seeing these probably ever again. So, loose packs, I mean, obviously do your due diligence. An art set is going to be okay. If you can get them cheap enough, You might find some products here and there over this next 6 months. Who knows, right? I have a bunch of loose packs myself that I broke down from products, so I'm happy that I have them. It's the worst product to have, but it's Evolving Skies, so what can you say? To go back to Sun and Moon, I think, you don't have a ton of options under $100 for real, but as far as the good sets go, Cosmic Eclipse is well loved. It's, a step behind Team Up, but it's a lot of people's favorite. I personally used to chase this pack. I had a lot of fun opening it. And back in the day, it was like $8. So if you got a collection box or something with a Cosmic Eclipse pack, you get an $8 pack in there. That was a good time. Yeah, I mean, Cosmic Eclipse is a fantastic set. Great art, right? You get the Lily. I pulled the Vileplume. So I feel a certain way towards that card. Solgaleo, the Arceus and Dialga Palkia card, the marble statue, it's really fantastic. The Blastoise and Piplup, it's very trainer heavy, but it's really strong, really cool cards. Reshiram, Zekrom, obviously this card spiked a lot. But I think a sleeve pack, Cosmic Eclipse, again, art set, looks pretty cool. People like it. There's a premium. I think this is a pretty cool option if you want like a good Sun and Moon product. Unified Mind, stuff like that, right? The better sets, sleeve booster, I'd be shooting for something like this. If you want a cheaper art set, and you can actually get the whole art set under $100, why not look at Fusion Strike, the second most valuable and desired set of Sword and Shield era? You can get all 4 of them. The Gengar, the Mew. You can get all 4 for under $100. You can probably find it for 65, 70, even cheaper at a card show, or maybe local, or you find one here or there, right? But under $100, full art set, that's pretty cool. And we know what Fusion Strike has done, and we know what it's going to do. It was the #1 performing set in the last year. I expect it to be performing quite well again this next year, as well as most of Sword and Shield. Of course, you can get an art set of any Sword and Shield besides Evolving Skies, or under $100, I mean. But Fusion Strike is a great option. Art sets have a premium because you're selling the convenience and the displayability, the collectability of the sealed products. Having all 4 arts ready to go for somebody, that's pretty desirable. And there is a pretty strong market for art sets in general. So, it's cool to have one of each. And I think it's a great set. It's crazy to say this now, a few years later, considering where it was, but it's just aged so well. And I think it's only going to continue to age well. Going to a younger set, you guys know I love Paldea Evolved. I have a few booster boxes. I think I mentioned in my last video that the booster boxes at $300 roughly is pretty expensive. I do think it's one of the best mainline sets of the era. There's no question. We all know this. But I'm not saying sell your Paldea Evolved, but there's still plenty of product to come potentially from this set, even though it is at that 2-year mark. I wouldn't be surprised to see some stuff in the holiday, which is why we try to stay around this age and up typically if we're looking for deals. But under $100, 80, 75, obviously MSRP. I don't think it's the worst option in the world to have some exposure to the best set that's relatively old. Excluding the newer ones like Surging and Destin that are young. The ETB looks really nice. I think a lot of people believe that these starters and from the newer games, like kids are gonna grow up wanting to rip a set like Paldea Evolved. Maybe I read an article that was pretty interesting that like Japan they were having a hard time appealing to kids, and so they put more effort into the English market to try to tap in there. Who knows what's going to happen long term, but this ETB is really nice. And Paldea Evolved is a really good set. And I think for $80, $70, somewhere in that range, like we know ETBs have performed well over the last year. There's kind of been a resurgence in how the performance of this product, the ETBs. I think Paldean Evolved is a really good option. Now you can make an argument for like most ETBs at retail, and I totally understand, but you're seeing less and less of these at that price, and I wouldn't be surprised to see these spike up, if assuming we don't see a huge reprint. So I don't think it's bad buy. I think it's pretty solid. Paldean Evolved, great set. Under $100, you're going to be all right in the future, no doubt about it. And you know I couldn't talk about investments under $100 without talking about Crown Zenith. I chose this one because for like the same price, you could get a booster bundle. Now, it is easier to store the booster bundle. Less fluff. Admittedly, the promos in this aren't like the coolest in the world, but it is like a Pikachu box and it looks pretty nice. And you get, was it 7 packs? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, 7. So you get 1 extra pack. And I think that's a really good value, actually, if storage isn't a concern. And these boxes, these collection boxes tend to do pretty well over time. Same thing with the Crown Zenith box, the Sea and Sky boxes. You know, you're going to be fine buying the Pikachu box. You're going to be fine buying the Morpeko box. I'd say you're even going to be fine buying the bundles. You'll probably see more of these, maybe at retail at some point. Who knows? Again, any of these boxes, any of these tins, pretty solid. I'm shooting for pack value, and I think there's a good pack value on the Pikachu at 7 packs for $80. I think the Morpeko, is this 7? I don't think it was. It is 7. So maybe about the same price, right? I think these are 5. Not quite as good. I think these are 4. Similar price. So you have some different options at different price points for under $100. Of course, you have mini tins. Anything Crown Zenith is going to be a banger over the next year. So, yeah, I wanted to put together a few options. Obviously, there's going to be more that are good options. This is what I'd be looking at personally. If I had a $100 bill, what would I be looking at? I'd be looking at all these things that I mentioned. If you feel like I missed something really important, really crucial, please comment it down below. I'd be curious to see what y'all's opinions are too on the rest of these options. But you have some good stuff, pretty affordable. We have some reasonings as to why, like, clearly I'm targeting things that are a little bit older because there's going to be more products being printed for some of these newer sets, like Surging Sparks. I don't know if I want to like buy 3 bundles for under $100 because I just feel like that's a product that's going to be printed for so long. And I don't want to be sitting on dead money, essentially, if I can help it. So I'd rather try to, you know, shoot for something that is less likely to be printed and has a high demand. And I think every set that I chose, except for, you know, Shrouded Fable, is in demand. And of course, it's PCTB. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Again, I'd like to thank you so much for your support. It's been really fun making videos. Thank you to the sponsor of this video. I have memberships open. Like, please don't feel obligated to join those if you don't want to. I'm working with my friend to like make some new art for the members badges. So I'm kind of excited about that, just as like a little side thing. I like Trico. It's my first starter. So it's going to be kind of Trico themed. So be on the lookout for that. I think it's down below. Should be live. I don't know. But yeah, guys, like, thank you so much. Let me know your thoughts, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.